Welcome to the session of Introduction to Audio Signal Processing using Scilab. I am Umar Farooq from the Department of Electronics Engineering, and we will try to have a brief and quick introduction to how various commands in Scilab can be used to process and analyze audio signals. In this session, we will first of all try to know what a signal is. Then we will look into the different types of signals, their example, practical and real signals that are present around us. Uh, Followed by that, we will have a discussion about how we can actually generate different signals, simulate them on Scilab, plot them, and see various characteristics. Once we understand that, then we will move to the audio signal processing, which is actually the topic that we have to cover. So how we can read an audio signal, how we can write an audio signal into files, and then if we are having an audio signal, then what are the different operations that we can actually perform using Scilab. We will just discuss the simple operations such as the concatenation operation of two audio signals, mixing of two audio signals, how can we change the sampling rate or convert the sampling rate of the audio signal, and then finally we will try to analyze the audio signal in frequency domain, see what are the different frequency components present in the audio signal, and then plot the spectrum. To start with, we have got a very first question, what a signal is. Therefore, we'd like to define the signal first. It is a single valued representation of information as a function of independent variable. Usually when we are having a single valued representation, that value can be real or it can be complex. Sometimes we may have independent variable single, or it may be multiple independent variable. Usually we encounter single independent value variables, and the speech signal or the audio signal that we will be discussing is corresponding to this particular category. However, it is possible that we may have more than one variable. For example, our image will have two variables, which is the variation along the x as well as along the y axis, which gives information about the pixel intensities in these two dimensions. A general form of signal can be a signal which is coming from the BSE index. For example, we want to record how the stock market is behaving. So if we take the stock of last 30 days and we plot the BSE index, then this is again a signal which can be used actually to say something about the system, that is the stock market, how it is behaving, whether the stock market is going strong or there is a slump in the market. All those interpretation can be done using this signal. Similarly, our own body can produce different types of signals. For example, when we are breathing, we are having the pulse rate. When we are practically speaking, we are actually in pool of signals all around us. For example, we have got the FM radio signals, which is present almost everywhere. We have got the signals from the mobile tower. We use mobile almost everywhere. We have got the signal available. Of course, the sunlight is again a type of signal which may not be very useful for us, but people who are working in the area of astrophysics, studying about the sun, for them the light and the other energy signals coming from the sun is very important. Similarly, we have got signals coming from the cable television or the dish from satellite to dish directly we are receiving signals. We also produce signals in the form of speech, and we have got musical instruments which actually produce the audio signals. We can have signals in the form of uh, information coming to the computer or the smartphone through the Wi-Fi network or through the broadband or optical fiber networks. So these are the various types of signals which are available uh, around us, and we usually don't notice them. Our body is itself a source of lot of signals. For example, the nerve cells and the muscles, they generate signals. The muscles signals can be actually collected by using electromyography EMG signal, which is shown over here, which shows how the muscle activity is changing with reference to time and the amount of voltage that is being generated, usually in the order of millivolts. We are well aware about the signal generated by the heart, the electrical signal, which is ECG, electrocardiogram. Also, our brain generates a lot of signal, which is electroencephalogram, and we can see the recording over here. Again, the level of the signal, electrical signal, is very low. It is in the range of microvolts. However, this is a very important signal. So all these signals are being generated, and if we study these signals, then we will be in a position to understand the health of the particular system. For example, if we observe the ECG and we are expert in this analysis, then probably just by looking at the ECG, we can detect whether this is a normal or abnormal ECG, and what sort of problem or ailment the patient is having with those abnormal EEG. Just a quick slide over here, giving the details of what a frequency is, because we will be frequently using this particular term frequency. It is the rate of change of the signal with respect to time. So the faster the rate of changes are, higher is the frequency. So in terms of time period, it is actually the reciprocal of the time period. So a signal which is slowly varying with time has got lower frequency. A signal which is having a faster variation is a reference to time is having higher frequencies. As shown over here, uh, one period in 1/12 of a second, and in the lower slide it is 1/6 of a second. So upper one is having a higher frequency as compared to the lower one. Once we have understood about the signals, let us try to generate some of those simple signals using the Scilab. The simplest form of the signal is a signal having a single frequency, which is a sine or a cosine function. So in order to generate that signal, first of all, we have to define that what is the starting time for that particular signal and what is the end time. And this is the increment shown, that what is the time increment in between the subsequent samples that we do have. So this is the first command line that we have to give, and the next is we can if we want to generate a sinusoidal signal, then we can give this sine 2 into pi. 500 over here depicts the frequency that we want to generate. That is, the 500 hertz frequency signal will be generated and is multiplied by the time, where it takes the start time as 0, increments it by 0.0001, and goes up to zero point 0.1 second. So this is the entire duration over which this signal will be generated, and the samples will be coming in the variable y. We can plot the same signal giving the independent variable as time, and instead of taking the entire time range, what I have done is I have taken the first 100 samples and then plotted it. So this is the x axis independent variable and the dependent variable, that is the y, corresponding to the amplitude of the signal. The title of the plot can be the frequency, and then we can put the x label, y label, all these commands. I hope that you must have been through in your earlier sessions. And now once we have actually generated this signal, we can play this particular sound and listen to it, that how a 500 hertz tone actually sounds. The 2 at the end of this actually indicates that this sound will be actually repeated twice. This Y is the sound that we want to play, and this actually indicates the increment that we are having, or 1 upon this is the sampling frequency that we do have for this particular sound. Now we can also write the signal Y which is being generated into a file, where we have to indicate or use the command wave write. That means this will write the signal in a wave format, which is important, that this will be written in the wave format as shown over here. The sample values are Y. This is the sampling frequency, which is the reciprocal of the time increment that we are having. 8 indicates that number of bits per sample. It is usually 8 or 16. And then we can use this command to write this file and save it at any desired location. Of course, it is important that the extension will be .wave. We cannot write the file in the MP3 format by using this particular command. This is the plot that we get, and if we try to play this tone, this is a very short duration. You can just listen to this, and you can change the frequency from 500 to 5000 hertz and then play the same thing and listen to this. You can vary the amplitude over here and then listen to this, and based upon this you can analyze actually that how good your hearing is at different frequency range. This is what is usually done in the case of audiometry when we want to test the response of our ear to different frequencies. This is how the signals are being generated. We have generated 500 hertz signal. Now if we use the same set of commands, and instead of 500 we try to generate 1 kilohertz or 1000 hertz signal, and then we plot, what we find is that at the peak or at the bottom over here, the signal is not having a smooth transition. We can find that there are edges which can be clearly seen, and this is because we have got these sampling instants at which the signal value was sampled, which was 0.0001. So if we want to have a smoother signal, then we need to have more number of samples in between so that the signal can be smooth. Uh, this is an important concept, as this will be required when we convert any analog signal, which is the speech signal, let us say, or in general audio signal, into a digital format which can be actually processed by our computer. So the sampling frequency becomes a very important criteria to be used to have a proper digital signal reconstruction of the original analog signal. If we try to see the basic difference between the analog and the digital signal, then we can see that the analog signal has a continuous time variation, and it has got all the amplitudes possible between the maxima and the minima. That means the signal is defined for any given time, and it will have all the possible amplitudes between the maxima and minima. While in the case of digital signal, the amplitude values are discrete, well defined, and the signal values are actually obtained at specific sampling instants. So this is the basic difference that we do have. And in order to process any sort of signal on computer, we have to convert that analog signal into the digital format. Let us now discuss the process involved in converting an analog signal into the digital signal. The very first step is the sampling, as we have actually seen when we defined the value of time with an increment of 0.0001. Now if we use the command plot 2D3, which is a stem plot, it actually plots first 100 samples of the Y signal, and these are the values and which have been plotted. Now if we want to represent this as a discrete staircase approximation, then we can actually use a plot 2D2, which shows that how these points can be joined, and once we smooth this signal, this becomes a sinusoidal signal as shown in this particular case. So this becomes a smooth signal. If we reduce the sampling frequency, that means these samples will be further away and we will have a lesser number of steps in a cycle, and then the approximation will be poor. So this is where we are doing the sampling and quantization, and we ultimately get our digital signal, which is a smooth version, which is shown over here in the third plot, that is subplot 313. This is the superimposition of the three signals that we have seen in the previous slide, and this actually shows the approximate sinusoidal signal which has been generated. Of course, if we have got lesser number of samples, then this smooth curve that we are getting over here will not be that smooth, and we may have the clipping of the top and the bottom of the sinusoidal signal, which we have seen in one of the examples when we took the frequency as 1 kilohertz. Now we will like to go through the process of reading and playing an audio file. If we want to read an audio file, the command that we have to use is wave read. This will read a audio file which is in a wave format. Any other format, for example MP3, cannot be read by this. We have to specify the path where the file is actually stored, and this is an uncompressed wave file version. It returns actually the sample values, and it also gives the sampling frequency, the frequency at which this file was actually sampled. And this is essential information, because if we want to play the file, then we should actually know what was the sampling frequency, that is the rate at which the samples are to be flushed out to be played. This is another wave file which is being read over here, and then we can play the sound. Play sound is the command which is used to play those sounds. So we have to specify X, that is the sample values that we want to play, and the rate at which it is to be played, the sampling frequency Fs. Since the two files have been sampled at the same rate, therefore I have taken Fs to be the same. Otherwise, in general, it should be different values. Then we can plot the signal, and the signal is shown over here. If we try to play the file, this is audio in which the Hindi
एक
ek has been spoken,
दो
and this is the next file where the digit do has been spoken by a particular speaker. So
दो
the time domain plot of these two is shown over here, and the wave file we can play as well. Concatenation is the operation in which we can have the first file followed by the second file. We can do the concatenation of two or more audio files by first reading their sample values and then concatenating it like this, as shown over here in the very first command. But it is important that the two audio files or n number of audio files that we are using all must have the same sampling frequency, which was fs that we have defined earlier. So if they are having the same sampling frequency, then they can be concatenated one after the other, and the total number of samples now will be equal to the sum of the number of sample in the
एक
x
दो
and y that we are having. So this actually shows the concatenated file, and we can play this sound as well.
एक दो
That is ek
एक दो
followed by do. So this file
एक दो
can be then stored, and we can do subsequent processing of this. So concatenation operation is fairly simple, but the important point is sampling frequency must be the same.
Hello there, cloudy, wet, breezy across much of Scotland and Ireland at the moment. This is the latest radar and satellite
using
picture.
a wave read command. So what we have done is we have read the wave file, which was 23.wave at a specific location, and then we can write the same wave file. The first thing we have to give is the sample values, and the other important thing is the sampling frequency that we have for the wave file already stored, followed by the path where the wave file is to be stored. So with this specification, the new wave file will be created and will be written in this particular path. It is important that if we change the sampling frequency, then we will not have the faithful reproduction of the original file. For example, BBC News is just shown over here.
Hello there, cloudy, wet, breezy across much of Scotland and Ireland at the moment. This is the latest radar and satellite picture.
Now, if I have doubled the sampling frequency, instead of fs, it is now 2fs. See what happens. And if I reduce the sampling frequency by a factor of 2, then
hello there, cloudy, wet, breezy across much of Scotland and Ireland at the moment. This is the latest radar satellite picture.
So this is what actually happens when we are changing the sampling rate, and we don't know the sampling rate of the original signal. So what we need to do is, if we want to alter the sampling rate, we have to do certain processing of the signal before it can be changed. Now we usually encounter stereo audio file. That means the audio file will have two channels, the left channel and the right channel, as was the case in the case of BBC News that we were having in the previous slide. We can extract the left channel and the right channel in this particular fashion, and then plot the two waveforms of left and right channel. Of course, the two plots will not be very much different. We can look at the variable browser and see that the left channel and the right channel has got same number of samples, and the sampling frequency is 44.1 kilohertz. The two channel plots, left channel and the right channel, is shown over here, which looks very much similar, but of course it will have minor differences, and these differences, if we try to overlap the plot, can be seen in this particular figure, where the red and the blue dots can be seen slightly at different locations at some point. If we want to mix two audio signals or more, then we can carry out the process like this. In this example, we are mixing only two audio, but it can be more than two as well. First, we read the wave file and then extract a single channel. Here we will be mixing only single channel, but you can mix both the channels as well. Then another wave file, which is a song, is actually read, and the samples are stored in the vector y. Similarly, we extract the left channel of y, and then we can add these two files. It is important that the sampling frequency fx and fy must be exactly the same. If they are not the same, then the mixing will not be proper. The multiplication factor 0.3 shown over here gives the weighting factor. If you want to emphasize the song, then you can put a multiplication factor which is greater than 1. If you want to emphasize the news part, then you can have the multiplication factor placed over there. Finally, the file can be stored in another place using the wave write command, and the sampling frequency, because fx and fy both of them are same, so it is fy itself and the file location. So we can play the file and see what
Hello
is actually
there,
stored.
cloudy, wet, breezy across much of Scotland and Ireland at the moment. This is the latest radar and satellite pitch.
This is the other song file.
एक दिन बिक जाएगा माटी के मोर जग में रह जाएंगे प्यारे तेरे को.
And finally, this is the mixed audio signal.
Hello there, cloudy, wet, breezy across much of Scotland.
This was a shorter version. I have not played the entire file. I have just played the sample number of samples shown over here. So this is the mixed file. We can play with the weighting factor shown over here and then get the response accordingly. The problem actually arises when we are trying to mix or concatenate two audio or more having different sampling rate. That means we need to change the sampling rate of all of them to a common value. Hence, the change in the sampling rate is required. In this particular slide, we will see how this can be actually achieved. Let us say that we are having a wave file which is sampled at 44.1 kilohertz, the song that we have seen in the previous slide. Here we will try to do the experiment with one channel, that is the left channel only. We will not touch the right channel, and then we will try to play and see what is the effect. So we can extract the left channel by taking the first column, and then we can play the sound of the left channel with that sampling frequency fy. Now if we want to change the sampling rate, let us say from 44.1 kilohertz to 16 kilohertz, then we can use the command intdec. That means we do our interpolation and decimation, whatever we want to do, of the signal that is left channel y, and we want to have the desired sampling frequency of 16 kilohertz. Earlier sampling frequency was actually fy. So this will actually create a new signal which is having the sampling frequency 16 kilohertz, and we can play this sound now, which will be similar to the previous one, but of course the quality of this particular song will be inferior as compared to what it was in the previous case, because now we have reduced the sampling frequency. Therefore higher frequencies and the musical notes that we will achieve in 44.1 1 kilohertz sampled signal will not be available in this particular case. Then we can write this resampled signal, which was 16 kilohertz, into a new file using a wavewrite command as discussed earlier. And then I have further performed the downsampling using the same int dec command, and the new frequency is sampling frequency is 4 kilohertz or 4000 hertz, and do the same processing again. Now if we try to play the original one and then the
एक दिन बिक जाएगा माटी के मोल, जग में रह जाएंगे प्यारे तेरे बोल.
This is what the original song was. Now if we try to play the one which was sampled at 16 kilohertz, now you can see the difference.
एक दिन बिक जाएगा माटी के मोल, जग में रह जाएंगे प्यारे तेरे बोल.
And now the last one which was sampled at 4 kilohertz, which will be really not that good. Now you can listen.
बिक जाएगा माटी के मोल, जग में रह जाएंगे प्यारे तेरे बोल.
This clearly shows that the high frequency component and mainly the musical instruments that are having high frequency component have been actually suppressed over here, while the speech or the song sung by the singer is available as such with little inferior quality. Thus we can actually change the sampling rate. Of course we can increase the sampling rate as well, but by increasing the sampling rate we won't be adding any additional information, and we may not have any improvement in the quality of the music or the audio signal. In order to analyze the frequency components present in the audio signal, we can use the command analyze available in the Scilab. Here in this slide, what I have tried to do is to analyze the left channel signal, which was having a sampling frequency of 44.1 kilohertz. So the left channel followed by the minimum value of the frequency that we want to have and the maximum value of the frequency that we want to have on the axis, which is shown over here, the minimum value and the maximum value. 44.1, this is the sampling frequency, while the last term actually gives the number of points of the transform that is used to convert the time domain signal into the frequency domain signal. It is essentially the fast Fourier transform which is being used. However, this may not be very much essential for those who are not from the electrical, electronics or computer engineering background, but this gives an idea that how much resolution we can have in the frequency spectrum that we are having. So it is clearly seen that in the first case, the spectrum extends up to 22 kilohertz range, while in the last case, when the sampling frequency is only 4000, the spectrum is only having frequency components up to 2 kilohertz, which can be seen in the plot which is actually attached. And we can see that the peaks occurring over here, roughly about 200 hertz, same peak is occurring in this case as well. But the higher frequency components above 2 kilohertz is absent when the sampling rate is 4 kilohertz. And therefore we perceive that the quality of the music is not that good as in the original case. A snapshot of other commands that can be used for handling the sound files are given in this particular slide, which we have discussed some of them, while others may be used when you gain expertise in this. However, some of the commands are actually for different formats which may be used in the case of Linux systems, or specifically for doing some sort of mu-law compending, which may be more useful for those who are having an electronics background. So the participants may actually explore these commands on their own, and depending upon the operating system on which they are having, these commands may be found useful to them. Thank you all for attending this session. I hope that you would have got some commands which will be useful to process audio signal and do simple operations. And I expect that you would be exploring Silo further for the audio application and many other applications which is of interest in your particular area. Thank you all.